What's going on, my friends, and welcome to this edition of Off Base. It's your girl, Lauren Gardner, alongside Xavier Scruggs. Here we are. We are almost at the quarter pole of this 2025 season. Does that blow your mind?
It's flying by, and we're starting to find out which teams are good and which teams may not be so good, right?
Yeah, National League still proving to be very solid.
Super
NL West, we might have to take like the top 4 teams in the NL West against maybe the field at times. Everybody. NL East also looking pretty strong. That's why I'm rocking the Phil's shirt here. Once again, my fandom is for sale.
Trying to give them vibes.
So Therese sent this one. If you want to send me anything, again, I will give your team all the vibes. You want to check out what's been moving the needle?
Let's get into it.
Okay, from the NL to the AL, let's talk about what happened with the Cleveland Guardians on Thursday afternoon. J-Ram, no surprise here. Look at the wheels on this guy.
Yeah.
When you see him during BP, you're not exactly sure he's capable of this, but he stole base and extras and scored the game-winning run. And then he achieved a little bit of history X for the Cleveland Guardians, becoming the first Cleveland player and primary third baseman to the 250 club. That's pretty special, and I still feel like, and we'll have this conversation, that he flies under the radar because of the market he's in.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, is not everybody sees him on a nightly basis. And but that also, to me, makes him more special, right? Like a guy that's not in such a huge market, but at the same time is still going out there proving that he's one of the best players in Major League Baseball and doing it all over the field. That's what's cool to me.
Yeah, I think it's so special what he's doing. And you're right, and he's still making himself known. A very well-known player who is continuing to have an incredible season. And, of course, Aaron Judge, you saw what he was doing. He's already a 2-time MVP. We know about this, but he could become just the 13th player in MLB history to win 3 MVP awards if he were to win this one. Again, became the first player to reach 300 career home runs within his first 1,000 career games. Already off to a great start entering this past Friday. Leads MLB in home runs, RBI, average, OBP, and slugging. Is that good?
It's
high score.
Like,
did he break it?
It's almost like a new thing with him every night, just because of how much he's getting better.
Yeah.
And I think, like, the sky is the limit for him. We can't tell. It's almost like that Ohtani factor. Like, we don't know what comes next with him, because he's continuing to show us that he's on a different level than everybody else.
And surprise us. He's a great leader. He's obviously tremendous on the field. We'll see what they do, in a postseason run come October. So it got us to thinking, which superstar are you taking for the rest of their career? So J-Ram, we're talking about flying under the radar, though. He did finish top 5 MVP voting in 5 separate seasons. Took the team-friendly deal in Cleveland. And Aaron Judge is just Aaron Judge, but he's also in the #1 market in the country. So if you're looking at the comparison, they're only a few months apart in age. Seasons similar, all-star appearances, Silver Slugger. Obviously, we can talk about MVPs later. So who are you taking for the remainder of their career?
Jeez, you're going to put me on the spot this early?
Gotta do it. Early and often, X. You know how this goes.
I would take Judge. Let me just go ahead and put my answer out there. I would take Judge. But I think when you're looking at J-Ram, you do have to consider the guy that does multiple things on the field extremely well. The reason why I have to take Judge is because I think he's considerably getting better at this time. And like I mentioned about Ohtani, we don't quite know what his ceiling is, because when you talk about hard hit rate, when you talk about a guy taking more walks, having a better understanding of his pitch selection, pitch recognition, all of those things that are tough as a hitter, and I know personally that it is not that easy to do those things, he's getting better at all of those things. And if I had to choose one right now, I would need to draft Aaron Judge, because he's the person I want to center everybody around.
So you're building your franchise around Judge.
I'm building my franchise around Judge. And yes, there's external factors too. I look at, this is a guy that, when you think about what you want to represent your organization, yes, he's the face of that. But also having a personal conversation with him this spring training, and how he told me he wants to be better. He wants to be better early on in the season. Last year, he struggled at the very beginning of the season. He said, I know I'm a good player, but I want to be better early on, because that's the difference between me being,
start here or not here,
superstar, like Hall of Fame style, and being as consistent as possible. I would take Judge.
It's the drive, it's the passion, it's the work ethic. I love this. So I started to reframe this conversation in my head. What if J-Ram was in New York or in LA or in one of those bigger markets?
That's a good question.
Finished top 5, like I mentioned earlier, in MVP voting in 5 separate seasons. would he have at least one MVP under his belt? And would this conversation go differently? He also has the Iron Man factor, X, in that he's only missed 85 total games over the last 10 years. So in terms of staying power, longevity, health, J-Ram, I think, has the edge. However, this isn't really a great debate, television or podcast, but I have to go with Judge as well.
I think it's a viable question, though.
It's a great question.
Because I think also if you value every other aspect of the game besides hitting, right? That's why I look at J-Ram being one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball, because it's not just one area in which he shines. Defensively, he's a good player. When you talk about running the bases, not just stealing bases, but being a good base runner, we don't talk about that enough.
Very cerebral.
He's very smart on the bases as well. And that same team leader effect. And he's always having a good time. Plus, he's got grit. And we know he's got grit because he was throwing some bows.
Yeah, he did.
He was throwing some bows not too long ago. So we know what type of fighter he is, too.
Yeah, I love that. You're right. J-Ram, very well-rounded for all the aforementioned points that you brought up. Also, chain game, really good when we interviewed him during the ALCS against those Yankees. He brought out the chain, showed the whole thing off. And, yeah, they're both outstanding players, and this is a great debate, and I can't wait to hear what people listening and watching have to say on this particular subject. Let's spin it forward to the future of the game and to some guys that are becoming household names. As you can see, breaking out here, PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong. Oh my goodness, having an outstanding year. Jung-Hoo Lee, we did Apple pregame. You sang his praises. Ben Rice, Tyler Soderstrom, Kyle Manzardo, another Guardian doing great things. And then, of course, James Wood, as you take a look here. So the question is, X, of course, we're going to put you on the spot once again as you take a look at the notable April stats from these breakout players this season. Which one has the most staying power?
You know what? I think when I look at Jung-Hoo Lee, I almost think about what our conversation was just about J-Ram. Right? Like doing so many good things on the field, plus somebody that only played 37 games last year after coming over from Korea. I played against him in Korea.
You know this dude.
This dude was a little slap hitter, wet newspaper, like still getting his line drives, but like there was no juice. This dude has some serious juice, like in the gaps. And he gets out of the box. He can smell a triple immediately. He leading doubles, like all those things. To me, and then good defense in center field. So when you talk about staying power, I think about somebody that brings impact on every single aspect of the game. To me, Jung-Hoo Lee is one of the main reasons why the Giants have been playing great baseball.
Yeah. If
you don't have him doing what he's doing, the Giants are not doing
Especially with Willie Adames being pretty quiet. I mean, they have some dudes doing their thing. Pitching is outstanding. Of course, leadership in the front office and Buster Posey, fantastic. I'm heading over to Chicago, North Side, PCA. I know Pete Crow Armstrong has been moving the needle, obviously, for the Cubs, but his elite defense, we have electric speed on the base paths, just 23 years old. I'm sure the hair has a lot to do with it. I'm pretty sure it's the power of the hair. It depends on the day, the dye job, whatever. I think it's working for him. 500 while hitting as single best defender in MLB. He really does. He's on pace for a 30-30 season. Do you know who the first Cub in franchise history to do that was?
Who?
First and only, Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa.
So he's about to, I mean, obviously it's still early. Not a big deal. PCA, in my opinion,
I like that.
The staying power to be a superstar
Can I throw in one
MLB.
More?
Why not? There are no rules.
Ben Rice.
It's on face.
Ben Rice.
Nice pick.
And you showed him earlier. I think Ben Rice, because like this is getting in the weeds a little bit. When I look at the peripherals, when I look at hard hit rate, when I look at barrel percentage, when I look at exit velo averages, like this dude is not just one of the best players on the Yankees. He's one of the best players in Major League Baseball. And when you can predict what he's still going to do after 100 at-bats, after 100 plate appearances, when we talk about what a player does, it's usually you get to that 100 plate appearance aspect within a season, and you can tell, okay.
That's your sample size.
Yes, he's being consistent. This dude has been one of the best in baseball. And when Giancarlo comes back, there is going to be some discrepancy on who's going to have to sit on the bench.
You're Aaron Boone. Who do you decide on right now in this moment? And you're picking up where obviously Giancarlo, left off in the postseason last year.
No, I mean Ben Rice has to play. Goldie been balling too, but he's not hitting homers like Ben Rice, so Goldie might have to take a little bit of a back seat.
Wow.
You got to get Stanton his ABs when he comes back.
Listen, it's a good problem.
I mean, it may not be, because I got to tell Goldie. I got to tell somebody.
I know.
I'm not. If Ben Rice is still doing what he's doing now.
Elite veterans and you're going to ask them to take a back seat for the
If
future
Ben
of the
Rice
game.
is still doing what he's doing now, I cannot take him out of the lineup because he's doing it better than 95% of the people in the league.
So you just show them those numbers. I can't wait to see that
Yeah,
conversation
you have to give
go
them
down.
the numbers.
You put on your Aaron Boone hat and you tell me how
That's
that
why I ain't
conversation's
doing
going to
it.
go.
I'm not doing that.
Goldschmidt and Giancarlo Stanton. I can't wait to see it. We're going to step aside here on this edition of Off Base when we come back. Yeah, it's another X breakdown. Corbin Carroll, extra credit. This dude is so good. Is he the most well-rounded player in the sport? I don't know. You tell me.
Corbin splits the gap. Go, Corbin, go. It gets all the way to the wall. He's headed for third, and he's got the triple. Already with one triple today, and he's going for one more. Albies with the throw. He's in there.
When he makes contact, it is a joy to watch him run the bases.
Both triples, by the way, the fastest times from home to third in the major leagues this year. He set the record earlier. He just broke it.
Listen, I'm tired just watching. It's time now for a little bit of extra credit. We're sharpening our number 2 pencils for this. And X, arguably the best division in baseball, the NL West.
Yeah.
Corbin Carroll, the centerpiece of this Diamondbacks organization, along with some amazing pitching, some other pieces. Of course, he's in the MVP conversation. It's still early, I know, but he's kind of taken a turn at the plate. So what's the
Yes.
biggest difference in his swing that you've seen from 24 to 25?
Man, I think it's physical. I really do. A lot of times we talk about mental adjustments as hitters, but I'm going to go ahead and start this video here because I want you guys to see the actual physical adjustments that Corbin Carroll has made. And as hitters, sometimes we move our hands, right? We try to figure out where we want our hand placement. And 2024 was much more back and up. Not as much in front of his face. And to me, there was issues with him getting to the inside pitch. And now this year, he's moved it more towards his face. And he almost gets more of a scap load going a little bit more with his back elbow. And it's almost a timing mechanism, too. And I think it's helped him also lower the hands and get them in position early to get to inside pitches. These are all inside pitches right here. And I want you to see comparison as to exactly where the barrel is right now as compared to 2024. And you still see the booty waggle, right? He's still got great rhythm, does a good job of keeping himself loose.
Gotta time it.
But it's but you said it, time it. If I need more timing, it's going to be easier for me to get more of a scap load with that back elbow. And he also picks up the leg a little bit earlier, too. So it's just about getting to your timing, but also feeling like if I'm getting challenged on the inner half, in which he was last year, he had a 175 batting average against inside pitches. The slug was 233, hard hit percentage at 18%. This year, all of those numbers have jumped up. And I think a lot of it is because of that physical adjustment. And then, LG, I mean, we're talking about excitement. Like, this dude legs out triples like nobody's business. But also, he's a smart base runner. As soon as he sees where the ball is and something going in the corner there, he's able to turn on the boosters. It's not like, okay, let me just run wildly. He is a very smart base runner and how he makes his decisions, but also one of the fastest in Major League Baseball. And then when you talk about impact all over the field, defensively as well, getting to baseballs, taking good routes defensively. He's worked so much more on his outfield routes and what he does out there. And you can just tell he's turned himself into one of the best players in Major League Baseball after having a good rookie year, going through some struggles, trying to make those adjustments. You know I'm always looking for adjustments.
Yes, you are.
Because as hitters and as young hitters, we got to figure out what's going to help us be consistent in the long run. It's great to be good in spurts, but what's going to help me be the best over a long period of time?
Yeah, shortest path to the ball, too. I love that, like the difference in elbow, barrel, all these different things is timing, the mechanisms that take place. And that's got us to thinking, is he the most well-rounded player in Major League Baseball? The work ethic is there. The technique and the base paths is 100% there. That's why I put him in my starting lineup, WBC Team USA. Of course, the competition is stiff. But what Corbin Carroll is doing in the desert is special. Yeah. And again, Elly De La Cruz is Elly De La Cruz, right? He's so fun. He's literally like, he's coined the electric player. And then you have Mookie Betts, who's done what Mookie Betts has done. And of course, now he's in the LA market. So of course, he's going to get more attention.
When you look at the most exciting players in baseball, he's right up there in that category as well. Because just like we talked about with J-Ram, and I'm going to keep bringing him up because he's a special player that does everything right on the field. If we're talking about the most impactful today and the ones that do everything, Corbin Carroll is the one doing it today.
Perfectly said. So you are on this date, Xavier Sparks is saying Corbin Carroll is the most well-rounded player in baseball.
The most well-rounded today.
Today,
It might be something different tomorrow.
Today.
Fernando might be the guy tomorrow.
You really covered yourself there, Bobby Witt Jr.
I have to.
There's a lot of guys in this conversation. Hey, when we come back, you recognize that guy? That is Dan Plesac. And for those of you listening on the podcast, this is all footage of him with his cart horses because we just had the Derby in the rear view. So we have a Derby segment coming up next. Hey, which horses are you taking? You don't want to miss this, trust me. How cool is this? This weekend marked the 151st Run of the Roses, the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. It got us to thinking, if we were to enter some horses into the Derby with an MLB tie-in, what would some fun names be to highlight here in this 2025 season, X? Because you saw some of the names that have won the Derby previously, and they're always so cool. So it's time for Derby to the Diamond. We had to do a little homework on this one. John O'Malley, our producer, great idea in terms of creativity with this one. So
that's not my strong suit, the creativity aspect.
I know.
Of things.
Thank God we have good producers because I'm the same way. I'm just like, wait, oh yeah, I love that idea. How does this work? Okay, so here are my 3 horses, so to speak.
Okay.
This will make you hungry, but we all know Steak Oscar, obviously delicious kind of lump of crab, crab on top of meat rather. But the real story in baseball is Steak Teoscar.
Ooh.
Dodgers outfielder Teoscar Hernandez entering May. Teoscar was tied with Aaron Judge with the most ribeyes this season with 32.
You're so corny.
It's so stupid. I'm about to become a mom. Are there mom jokes or dad jokes? Does that work?
You'll be giving plenty of mom jokes.
Oh my God, this kid is going to be so mortified.
That's a good one,
They're
though.
gonna be like, Mom, you're done.
Steak Teoscar.
Okay.
You're making me hungry for sure.
Right? Okay, so
Right
this
off the bat.
week, the Met Gala, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Takes place in New York. Everyone's going all out. However, there has been a Met Gala going on in Queens this entire season. We were talking about Francisco Lindor kind of being the straw that stirs the drink there for the Mets. Have used their swagger on and off the field to dominate at Citi Field.
I
So
like that a
so
lot.
fun. And then if you're like me, you always had great attendance back in school. I don't
Did
know
you?
if that's true. Occasionally.
You ditching every now and then?
Yeah, don't tell my parents. She still doesn't know. Sorry, Mom. So we have a horse or a MLB horse called Perfect Attendance. So there have been highest average attendance in all of baseball. Okay. You know the funny
For the
part
people
about
that aren't
this?
watching, Lauren is
There's
in
a full
picture
screen
with the
horse girl.
here.
I did grow up a horse girl, by the way. I barrel raced and showed horses, and
That's
also
awesome.
worked at the Kentucky Derby one season.
I can see you
it was
doing
the coolest
that.
thing ever. Okay,
see you
it's
doing
not even a
that.
Photoshop. That's a real photo. My horse named Hawk.
That's awesome.
Such a horse girl.
Those were some
energy.
good names.
Okay, I feel like you have some good ones up your sleeve. You
Okay.
claim not to be creative, but I think you are.
Okay, so my first one is play off of Hunter Green. Green means go.
Oh, that's a great name.
Green means go. Look, he's coming into his own now. You
Yeah,
think about
he really
being a
is.
former number 2 overall draft pick and having all these expectations, and now he's actually turning those into some real production. And I
the
love
Reds have
seeing
been patient
that.
with him.
What?
The Reds have been patient with him.
Yes, that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it. You have to be patient. You're going to get production at some point. Pavetta, okay, I got Nick at Night.
Oh,
Nick
I
at
love
Night.
this.
Nick at Night for Pavetta.
Nailed it.
Look, we didn't know if he was, if it was smart for him to, go into free agency, right? And
Yeah.
he ends up getting the deal from the Padres, and he's been one of the best pieces in that rotation for them. So I love that too. Last one, Gold Rush. Gold Rush.
That is too easy.
Gold Rush. I know I already beat him down in our first segment
You
talking
did.
about Ben Rice.
Ben Rice is going to replace you, Goldie.
If there's somebody that's also made some serious adjustments this year and has been on base every single time Aaron Judge comes up, it is Paul Goldschmidt. And I mean,
Wait,
you
is
talk
this
about-
photoshopped? So if you're listening on the podcast, this is X full-on cowboy in the desert.
Look, why are my arms so small
You're
though?
so skinny
Like, why
in
do
your
I not have
body.
more muscles?
I don't know.
Come on.
You have to take that
If
up.
I'm wrangling out there,
You're wriggling.
yeah.
I want to go to Dude Ranch. Maybe we'll do a team building activity. We'll go to a Dude Ranch.
Oh, my
Okay, so also, did you know in horse racing that an exacta is baking who comes in first and second?
I'm learning
in
things
that order.
today.
We're all learning. So with that in mind, I want you to give me your way too early MLB exacta World Series pick. So
way too early for sure. Way
Way
too
too
early for
early,
sure.
so, yeah.
Nobody get mad at me, please.
we're gonna make so many people mad with this.
Dodgers, and Rangers. Dodgers, Rangers. To me, the Rangers offense hasn't even gotten going yet. When they do, watch out. Dodgers, Rangers. Dodgers repeat.
Oh!
Dodgers repeat.
You're gonna have so many LA fans loving you, and
know,
everyone else
everybody
will
hated me.
come at you. So yeah,
That's what I got. What
you know
do
the
you
social
got?
handle. I'm going Subway Series. Let's go.
yeah.
I had Met Gala. We have Francisco Lindor. Juan Soto is about to turn that corner.
I don't hate
and
it.
turn on the afterburners. The Mets pitching is phenomenal. And the Yankees, I mean, let's be honest. We know the NL is so tough. They're all going to beat each other up. I still feel like the Mets can probably get past the Dodgers and the Phillies and all the contenders on the
All the
NL
West.
side. It's going to be so ridiculous. Yeah, entire NL West.
Get the
and then
Cubs,
on the other
maybe.
side, yeah, the Cubs, Padres, name any team. Yeah. San Francisco, all the Sands. Arizona, all of them.
Dang,
but yeah, and
Subway
then
Series would be crazy.
Subway Series is going to be insane. New York, obviously, going to get in. Aaron Judge, I think you'll kind of lead the way for
Could you
his
imagine Soto going up against Judge after he was just
team. Cannot wait to see that. If that does come to fruition, I'm so here for
The
it.
Mets need to get some more pitching. I know their pitching is good, but they need more high-end pitching if they're going to do something
Well,
like
good
that.
thing
to
the
me.
trade deadline exists,
Yeah.
so that can happen.
That's
And the
facts.
Mets will come out on top. So this is
The Mets will come out on
Yeah,
top.
Mets
Wow.
2025 World Series winners. Come at me, everyone else in baseball. That does it for this edition of
I'm holding you to that,
Face.
too.
For Xavier Scruggs, I'm LG Red. Check us out, MLB Network, Sundays at 11, MLB.tv, wherever you get your podcast, and of course, YouTube. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.